Our day with a major mask reversal on planes, trains, and most rideshare automobiles. Now, wait till you hear how fast U.S. airlines changed their mask policies, and we just got new information from Via.
Police are working to find out what caused a woman to roll her vehicle early this morning. It happened on the city's south side. We will have the latest from investigators.
And taking a look outside with live cam, pretty nice this morning at 62 degrees. We will enjoy that.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 19th. A pleasant start to our day. We've got Stephen and Justin waiting in the wings to get you updated.
That's right. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos first.
Thank you, Mark. Stephanie. Unfortunately, we do have some trouble here off Loop 1604 at Spurs Ranch. Now, drivers, keep in mind, there is a slowdown that is taking place over here. What we are looking at are first responders working to clear a crash scene. Not clear exactly how many vehicles are involved or if any of the drivers or passengers were hurt, but we are seeing that traffic is definitely coming to a slight slowdown in that direction. This is off the westbound lanes of 1604 near Spurs Ranch Road, as you just saw on that TransGuide camera. And of course, not as a surprise, we are seeing that stretch of yellow that is building in those westbound lanes. Let's take a big jump over here. We got to go head over to 281 because in the southbound lanes at Thousand Oaks Drive, another crash was reported. But thankfully, these southbound lanes aren't looking too bad. They're actually not seeing any congestion at all. But we did see a little bit of a slowdown here off of I-35 southbound that looks like it is improving after a crash was reported there at AT&T Center Parkway. So as we get the wide view of the map at 8:59, it does look like slowdowns still remain there on 410 and here off of 1604. Of course, we're going to watch these areas closely and give you those updates. But again, 1604 at Spurs Ranch, just not a good place to be this morning. Guys.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Let's look at today's 9 at 9.
Wearing a mask while traveling is now optional most of the time. A federal judge in Florida struck down the Biden administration's public transportation mask mandate. That decision freed airlines, airports, and mass transit systems to make their own decisions about mask requirements. The major airlines switched to a mask optional policy immediately. The TSA also said it would no longer enforce the mask requirement. However, local governments and travel organizations can still enforce their own regulations.
Multiple explosions targeting a school and another educational testing center in Kabul have injured at least 7 children. Afghan officials fear that number could rise or there could be casualties. So far, no one has claimed responsibility, but the area has been targeted in the past by Afghanistan's deadly Islamic State affiliate.
Russian forces have attacked along a broad front in eastern Ukraine as part of a full-scale ground offensive to take control of the country's eastern industrial heartland. Ukrainian officials say the Russian forces are focusing on taking full control of the Donbas region in this new phase of the war. A U.S. defense official estimates Russia has recently added 11,000 fresh troops to its forces already in Ukraine.
Police in South Carolina have made a second arrest in the weekend mall shooting in Columbia. The 20-year-old man is facing multiple charges, including attempted murder. 15 people were injured, including 9 who were shot. The first suspect arrested is now facing charges, including attempted murder. An arrest warrant out for a third suspect. Police think the shooting stemmed from an ongoing dispute between the suspects.
The Department of Justice will not seek federal charges against former Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke in the death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. The U.S. attorney said that was primarily because the bar for federal convictions is higher than state. Van Dyke was sentenced to nearly 7 years in prison in 2019, but was released in February for good behavior.
Engineers say a Florida amusement park improperly altered a ride to make it unsafe, leading to the death of a 14-year-old boy. That's according to an independent engineering report. It showed the ride's manufacturer had a safety mechanism in place to stop operation if sensors detect a gap more than 3 inches between a rider and safety harness. But officials say the operator's adjustment to alter that feature contributed to creating a gap large enough for Samson to fall through. The report also notes other factors may have also contributed to the teen's death.
Today marks 27 years since the Oklahoma City bombing that killed 168 people, including children, and injured several hundred more. The 2 men convicted of carrying out the attack were former U.S. Army soldiers. One was executed by lethal injection in 2001. The other is serving life in prison without parole.
The number of migrants attempting to cross the U.S.-Mexico border has surged in recent weeks as the country prepares for even larger numbers with the end of Title 42. Immigration authorities stopped migrants over 221,000 times along the southwest border in March, a 34% increase from the month earlier and the highest in nearly 2 decades.
The Colorado River is now one of the most endangered rivers in the U.S. That's according to one conservation group. They cite climate change and outdated water management practices as contributing factors. According to the group, the Colorado River's flow could be reduced by 10 to 30% by the year 2050. The Colorado River is a major water and electrical source to more than 40 million people in the West, including Texas. And that's today's 9 at 9. Outside with Live Cam, we drop down into the 50s this morning. Looks like the clouds are on the comeback. Let's check in with meteorologist Justin Horn.
Yeah, right on cue. Those clouds are starting to roll back in. We started off pretty clear this morning. It was beautiful morning temperatures in the 50s. Felt pretty crisp and cool outside. Clouds rolling in now. It's going to kind of lock in the cool. And that means temperatures today aren't going to warm up all that much. We're thinking mid-70s for highs. So all in all, a pretty good day if you like the cooler weather. There's the satellite picture. The clouds, as you can see, are really starting to spread in here around the San Antonio area. Temperatures are currently in the low 60s here in town, 62 degrees, 60 in Helotes, still some 50s in places like Kerrville and Comfort, where the sun is still out for now. Same story in New Braunfels and Seguin, but those clouds will make it to you as well a little bit later this morning. Other big news, Oak jumped up again today for whatever reason. It's at 12,430, now back in the very high category. Molds, pine, grass, pecan, all low, but a pretty long list there in the pollen count. There's another live look outside. Temperature 65 at Stinson, 63 Kelly, 62 at Randolph, and we are looking at an easterly wind at this point. Forecast calls for temperatures to be up around 68 by noontime. There is an outside chance for a few showers today. Anything we see would be light, but there is a 20% chance here, and we'll top out at about 76 this afternoon. Clouds stick with us overnight, and then we should see some more sun by tomorrow afternoon, and that means warmer temperatures. Here's some good news. We're looking down the line, some pretty decent rain chances by next week. We'll talk about it coming up.
Thank you, Justin. Top stories today. Investigators still trying to find the person responsible for the murder of the man on your screen. Eric Crawford was his name. He was found dead back in October of 2016 in an apartment on Fairhaven off of I-10 near Fredericksburg and Wurzbach. Officers believe he was murdered several days before his body was ever found. Officers still don't have any suspects in custody. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen, 224-STOP.
San Antonio police are investigating an overnight crash on the city's south side. It happened around 2:15 this morning on South Presa, not far from Southeast Military Drive. And that's where officers say a woman driving a Dodge Challenger rolled her vehicle off the road. No one was hurt in that crash. Right now, it's not clear what caused the woman to roll her vehicle. And one woman recovering after she was hit by a vehicle on the west side. This happened around 10:15 last night on Alamo Downs Parkway, just inside Loop 410 near Culebra. Police say she was walking in the street when she was hit by someone driving a sedan. She's in the hospital today with a broken leg. Officers say alcohol was not a factor, and the driver who hit her is not facing any charges. Well, back to the big news that everyone is talking about today. Masks no longer being mandated on federal transportation systems, but each local government or transit organization might have its own rules. CNN's Amy Kiley breaks all this down for us, and if wearing a mask is up to you, health experts have some advice to help you make that decision.
Masking up while traveling is now optional most of the time.
I'm excited. If you want to wear them. If not, then don't.
A federal judge in Florida has struck down the Biden administration's public transportation mask mandate. While the ruling is reviewed, the TSA and a growing list of U.S. airlines and other transit organizations say they won't enforce the rule.
It looks like it's a done deal. I mean, the administration, rather than saying they were going to appeal right away and try to get a stay, they basically acquiesced in the decision.
Amtrak says masks are now optional, but stop that train. Local governments and travel organizations can still enforce their own regulations. These transit systems are some of the first to say they will continue requiring masks. These say they will not. Regardless, the CDC still recommends choosing to wear a mask on public transportation.
Just because you're not required by the government to wear a mask, that doesn't mean you shouldn't wear a mask. I'm definitely going to be masking when I go to planes, on trains, in airports.
Experts recommend an N95 or similar grade of mask for the best protection.
Wear a mask during the times that are the highest risk. That is boarding the plane and deplaning, because that's when the ventilation system is not turned on.
I'll always wear my mask. I lost my grandmother to COVID a year ago, and so I'm very particular about the masks.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Here locally, our COVID risk level remains low. Yesterday, San Antonio International Airport announced masks were no longer needed for travelers.
As for Via riders, less than an hour ago, Via announced masks are optional for customers and employees. They released a statement saying, in part, customers and employees are encouraged to make decisions that are in their best interests, end quote. They also went on to remind riders that if you are sick, you should not take public transit. And we'll continue to keep you updated on any changes on air and online.
Sure do. Right now, just about 9:09, 62 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9, a special announcement that high school football fans do not want to miss.
Plus, local students as young as 4 years old coming together to raise money for a nonprofit helping foster care youth. Max Massey will join us live after the break to explain how you can help out.
Welcome back, everybody. Pre-K for SA, a local program that offers full-day pre-kindergarten for 4-year-olds living in the city of San Antonio.
Pre-K for SA is free for qualifying students, and these students have a special fundraising program in place to help a local nonprofit. Max
Massey joins us live. Max, good morning. You say these 4-year-olds actually voted on which nonprofit they wanted to help out?
Yes, guys, this program is so awesome. It's multifaceted. So not only are they learning about the community, but they're picking how they want to help out, and they're putting together art to do exactly that, raise funds for it. So joined here with Sarah from Pre-K for SA. So Sarah, how did this program get started?
This program actually is one of the curricular innovations that came from one of our teachers at Pre-K for SA. So they wanted to find a way to help our children understand the importance of being good community members and also contribute to great causes.
In terms of logistics, how does this all work? The kids draw, they put art together, and then they put it up for sale?
Yeah, so actually they work with local artists in the classroom during the spring semester to create pieces that are inspired by the children's vision of San Antonio from their perspective. And then those art pieces are put in an exhibit, and we create an online auction, and we auction off the pieces to donate the money back to our nonprofit of the year, which this year is the Through Project.
The Through Project helps bridge the gap between kids in foster care to become productive members of society. So what does this teach the kids about being members of our community?
Well, the children actually voted back in November during election time. Our children select from 3 nonprofits to pick one that's going to be our nonprofit for the year. And the children learn about voting and the importance of having your voice heard, but then also the importance of supporting good causes in our community and being contributing members. And so our children learn that they don't have to wait to grow up to contribute to San Antonio. They can do that right now as 4-year-olds. And so all of their pieces are waiting to be bid on by people across both our community, but really even outside of Texas. We often have some people who bid from other parts of the country.
That is amazing. So back here to people in our community, anyone watching this, how can they still help out?
So the auction is open, and it's open on 32 Auction, and you can bid, and it gets pretty intense. So you got to watch your pieces. And if they want to see the pieces in person, they can visit our East Center today or tomorrow from 3 to 4 and see all of the pieces there in the exhibit.
How's the bidding going so far? And do you guys have a goal in mind?
We do. We'd love to raise $10,000 for the Through Project and the important work they do. We've got thousands already bid. Some of the pieces are already going for several $100s, but there are some that are still very affordable. So encourage people to get on and keep an eye on those projects and bid to the last minute, because people can't try and sneak in at the last few minutes of the auction and get those great pieces. I myself have my eye on a few. So.
All right, Sarah with Pre-K for SA, thank you so much for your time this morning. Mark, Sarah, Stephanie, if you guys have any questions, if you want to put a bid in for some of this amazing art that helps out our community, we're going to have all those answers ksat.com, and of course, the news at noon. Back to you guys.
Very cool. Thank you, Max.
Time for a San Antonio precipitation update, which is in a pretty simple format at this point, isn't it, Justin?
There's not much to update. No, the rainfall has not been good, as we know. And we look at the month of April, which usually is a pretty good month for us, but it has not been this year. Only 0.2 of an inch rain here in San Antonio, and that basically came in one day. That was on the 10th. Otherwise, it's been dry. We've only had 4.75 inches since October 28th, and we are over an inch below average for the month. But there is some hope. We're circling a day here, the 25th. Looks like there could be some decent rain around the area. Models have been pretty consistent about it, so maybe on Monday, we'll keep our fingers crossed, we can add to this total. There's a chance today, but everything we're going to see today is going to be very, very light. Let's look at the radar and satellite, and you see some of these storms trying to get going out here in West Texas. Likely that's where they'll stay. Some of these could drift towards Valverde County. Otherwise, we've got clouds starting to spread in here. And this cloud cover is going to be fairly thick today. There could be a few breaks here and there, but a mostly cloudy day for sure. And that'll keep temperatures down. It'll feel nice outside. We're starting off in the 60s. And you probably will only make it into the 70s for highs. Here's a look at one of our computer models, and it does show quite a bit of cloud cover. It does show a few showers, too, popping up this afternoon. 20% chance. This is light stuff. Going into tonight, a few more showers into early tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. I think the morning commute should be just fine. But clouds stick around through about midday tomorrow, and then we'll start to see some more sun tomorrow afternoon, which will mean warmer temperatures on your Wednesday. There's the scene outside. It is cloudy at the moment, 62 degrees at the airport, 65 Stinson, 62 Kelly, 62 at Randolph. And we've got an easterly wind. It's starting to turn more southeasterly, though, and that starts the process of bringing in more humidity and more moisture. 58 Kerrville, 57 Fredericksburg, 62 in New Braunfels, 64 Pleasanton, 69 in Cotulla, and 55 Bernie Stage, 57 in Comfort. So still some 50s on the map. It's a little cool out there. Dew points will jump up by this afternoon and certainly by tonight. We'll start to see those dew points return to the muggy territory, and that sticks with us all the way through the weekend. We'll get in that pattern of morning clouds, afternoon sun, muggy conditions, and some gusty winds. That'll be the trend through Saturday and Sunday. Forecast for today, 68 by noontime, 20% chance of rain. We'll keep that 20% chance going through the afternoon, 4 p.m. 75, 5 p.m. 76. And then even into this evening, cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s. Some southeasterly winds, and they will be gusty from time to time. Got a bad frame there, but the water vapor imagery shows us, once we get rid of that bad frame, we'll swirl right there. That's our next rainmaker, and I'm hoping that this will bring us some at least decent rain. That's kind of what the models are hinting at. This is down the line, so we're going to fast forward all the way to Monday at 10 o'clock, and it does show rain around the area as this system pulls in. Basically a frontal boundary here, and it's along that front that we should see some showers and storms. So right now we have a 40% chance of rain in the forecast on Monday, some cooler numbers. In the meantime, it's just some sort of wimpy stuff, wimpy showers here and there. Tuesday, today, maybe a few Wednesday and Thursday. And morning clouds and temperatures right around 90 degrees, guys.
Very good. We look forward to a little rain.
We're hoping.
We're hoping. Hopefully.
We're a little under a week away from that, I think.
Yeah. We'll see. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Right now, 9:19, about 62 degrees.
After the break, David Sears and RJ Marcus are going to be joining us with a special announcement. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Just about 9:23. We found out about this maybe a little after Christmas time, but we had to sit on it. Here at KSAT, we're very excited about a brand new partnership we've joined, and it's something high school football fans will absolutely love and appreciate.
So David Sears and RJ Marcus join us now from the Alamo Dome to talk more about this. Good morning.
It's always a good time to talk about high school football in San Antonio. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, it's always a good time. And boy, are we pumped up here at KSAT 12 for high school football. We've got some of the Johnson cheerleaders and dancing with. Are y'all ready for high school football?
Yeah.
They're always ready. Always ready for high school football.
Always ready for high school football as we get set to make a huge announcement, David, coming up here. Coming up, we're going to have 3 big games coming up here August 27th here at the Dome. We're going to save some of that little bit of announcements. Yeah. It's just a little bit of a tease, but of course, Johnson will be involved in this big event taking place here at the Dome.
It's called the Pigskin K-Set Classic, and you're going to want to stay tuned to find out how you could be a part of it. We've got some special stuff. It's not just high school football. It's high school football and much, much more when we open up the season on August 27th. So stay tuned. We're going to come back with a lot of information for you, a lot of excitement, and more from the Johnson cheerleaders and dancers. So what did we rehearse earlier? I know it's early. It's springtime. It's spring training, so that's fine. Yeah. So are y'all ready? Give us a little bit of what we rehearsed earlier. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
The K-Set Pigskin Classic.
There you go, ladies. Very nice.
It's my regular season already.
They're already in football form. They're already in football season 4.
You guys are awesome. You guys are fired up for football?
Yes.
What do you think Johnson's going to do this year?
Win every game.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of pressure on the team.
And we talk about the matchups here as we get set to announce these matchups later today. I mean, we're talking about the best of the best here in the San Antonio area. 6 local powerhouses that are all going to be here on the same day. So fans are going to be excited. Vendors are going to be excited. We're excited to be out here to get set for this big announcement.
Yeah, like we've been talking about, you're going to be able to be a part of something that you've never been a part of when it comes to high school football before. We're going to be talking about that. Greg Simmons is here. He's like high school guru over there. He knows everything there is to know about high school football. So we're going to be talking to him about it. I mean, as you can tell, we are pumped up, and all these teams are going to be fired up to be playing in the Alamo Dome. Every team in San Antonio and South Texas loves to play in the Alamo Dome, especially in August when it's 100.
Yeah,
so that's always fun. So, and they like cheering in the Alamo Dome, especially in August when it's 103. All right, let's do this one more time. You ready? You ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The K-Set Pigskin Classic.
Woo! More to come. All right,
ladies.
Mark, Steph, back to you guys. We'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you guys in a bit. And Greg is there.
Yes.
All right. Yep.
Yes.
Over there canoodling. All right, speaking of sports, Stros fans might be a little worried after their second baseman left last night's game in the 8th with a strained hamstring. After running to first, Jose Altuve fell to the ground and threw his helmet as he winced in pain. There he goes. The manager hoping to get more answers today about Altuve's condition. You can read more about this story on KSAT.com. Despite that, Stros would go on to beat the Angels in their home opener last night at the Juice Box, the final 8-3.
Ouch. And time now, 9:26. There's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
The recognition of another local teacher making a big difference. We'll introduce you to our Educator of the Month in the next half hour.
And we're going behind the kitchen door after the break. One downtown restaurant getting written up. We're going to explain why, plus a look at some of the local food joints that received passing scores.
And as we go to break right now, big backups there at 1604 and Braun Road, flashing lights off in the distance. Folks trying to get off the highway while they can. We'll try to get some information during the commercial break and update you after the bottom of the hour. Let's head behind the kitchen door in a downtown restaurant written up last month after a city health inspector uncovered a dusty fan inside a refrigerator. It happened at Guillermo's Deli. That's on McCullough Avenue. According to Metro Health, it received a score of 81. Scores between 80 and 89 are seen as acceptable to marginal. They're also cited for failing to store food in a manner that prevents possible contamination. The restaurant was also dinged for leaving a trash can uncovered. Here's a look at some of the restaurants that got top scores on their recent health inspections. Cava on East Massey near Broadway got a 100. So did the Taco Cabana on Stone Oak Parkway at Huebner. Bobalicious off Northwest Loop 410 near Evers got a 98. And the Whataburger at Ridham and I-35 also received a fantastic score of 98. Right now on our website, we have a complete list of restaurant calls from the week. If you'd like to report a restaurant complaint, call Metro Health or call 311. We have all that information on KSAT.com. Just look for this there on our homepage.
And an update on a story we told you about yesterday. Police are still looking for the man caught on camera stealing gold medals from a U.S. Paralympian. The incident happened on Saturday at the Rim, and police say they found the medals at a local fire station. However, they are still looking for the person who stole them. They are trying to find fingerprints on the medals, but so far no arrests have been made. If you recognize the man in that video, you are asked to call police.
Well, this past Friday marked Passover, an important Jewish holiday, but many people don't know the holiday lasts a full week.
Courtney Freeman talked to a local rabbi about why the traditions are still relevant today and not just for the Jewish community.
These are photos sent in from Jewish families and organizations all over San Antonio, many gathering for the first time in years to celebrate Passover.
It celebrates the exodus from Egypt that took place many thousands of years ago, which essentially was the beginning of the Jewish people. 49 short days later, the Jewish people received the Torah, the revelation on Mount Sinai, and 2 other religions have been spawned from that event as well.
Rabbi Chaim Block with the Chabad Center for Jewish Life and Learning explains it all starts with the Seder, a ceremony and dinner filled with symbols of the escape from slavery in Egypt.
This year, the liberation part is so pronounced because we're emerging out of COVID. We had a Seder here at Chabad, the first Seder in 3 years.
Passover this year also carries a solemn weight for Jews with the acknowledgement of what's happening in Ukraine.
All of a sudden, established people are refugees in a strange land. So there's a lot of parallels.
Now, though the first Seder was on Friday, many people don't know that we celebrate Passover for 7 to 8 days. That's because of this. This is matzah, or unleavened bread, and God commands that Jews eat this for a full week.
The whole focus on better times to come.
We are all hopeful that there will be peace and tranquility and harmony for peoples of all faiths coming together.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
And taking a look outside with live cam, nice and cool this morning. We're at 62 degrees and it's still nice for now.
It's going to be nice most of the day. So we had the clear skies earlier. Temperatures were allowed to drop because the air was pretty dry, and now the clouds are moving in. It's kind of locking in the coolness, and we're going to see a fairly cool day. Even into the afternoon, temperatures in the 70s. I want to show you the radar real quick. We do notice some thunderstorms way out in Terrell County, out of our viewing area, but some of these may work their way into Valverde County within the next several hours. We'll keep an eye on it. We're not really looking for thunderstorms today, though. If we see anything, I think it's going to be mostly in the form of some light showers here around San Antonio. As we look at the satellite picture, a lot of clouds trying to work their way in. There will be some breaks here and there today. But generally speaking, a gray, mostly cloudy day here around San Antonio. Still seeing some sun. Gonzales up to New Braunfels, but even there, I think the clouds will fill in a little bit later this morning. Temperatures, 64 Castroville, 64 Hondo, 64 in Uvalde, 58 up in Comfort, 59 Bernie Stage. In the forecast for today, we should get those temperatures close to 70 by noontime, and then right around 75, 76 for a high. Later today, with some gusty southeasterly winds, too. Warmer temperatures on the way, and we talked about it earlier, some better chances of rain finally in the 7-day forecast. We'll have another look at that coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Justin. We have some details now on the accident on the far northwest side. If you're on eastbound 1604, there is an accident just past Braun that is backing things up to near Shanefield. Don't have a very good view on this shot because this is at Braun itself. But trust us, there are some big backups on eastbound 1604 just past Braun, backing up to near Shanefield. With gas prices still high, many people are looking for new ways to save.
However, is getting a gas credit card or joining a warehouse club worth it? 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz looks at easy ways to stretch your gas dollars.
Gas prices have dropped nearly 40 cents in the past month. Still, a tankful can siphon your wallet.
I just filled up yesterday and it was $70, and I haven't ever spent over $55.
Apps like Gas Buddy, AAA, and Gas Guru can help you find the lowest prices. But what about applying for a credit card issued by a gas station or oil company? Is it worth it?
Many gas cards pay you back a few cents per gallon of gas, like 5 cents or 10 cents, rather than a percentage of your purchase. So when gas prices are moving up from $3 to $4 or $5, that benefit is worth a lot less.
Instead, she says, look for a credit card with no annual fee that offers rewards like 5% back on gas purchases. Even though many gas stations offer a lower price if you pay with cash instead of plastic, the card's cash back reward could be a better deal. One example is the Citi Custom Cash Card. It gives you 5% cash back on your top spending category each billing cycle for up to $500 in purchases. Just be sure to pay it off.
Warehouse clubs such as Sam's Club or Costco offer their own credit cards that pay you back a percentage on your gas purchases.
If you don't belong to a warehouse club, consider this. Their gas prices are often some of the lowest. Right now, locally, about $3.29 a gallon. The gas discounts alone may be worth the membership cost. There are plenty of apps that can save you money, like TrueNow or Get Upside. They can save you 25 cents a gallon. You take a picture of the receipt, load it into the app, and you get cash back. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Educator of the Month, brought to you by First Mark Credit Union.
And she's a history teacher at Burbank High School, and her goal, making sure her students succeed. Now her students are making sure she's being recognized for all her hard work. Amanda Neary is KSAT's Educator of the Month, and watch how we surprised her with the award.
With our Teacher of the Month for the month of March.
Big cheers for Amanda Neary as she receives KSAT's Educator of the Month award.
All right, when you're in your groups, please number yourselves off 1 to 4.
She tells us her career path wasn't always in education, but after working outside of the field, she knows now that teaching is her greatest love.
Do you guys have social?
Yes.
Okay, so some of yours might overlap with like Castro's characteristics and traits. I went to school for it, and then I took a break and worked in like a law office. I worked in a hotel for a little while, and then realized that there's nothing else that I really loved as much as teaching. So I'm back. Can't get rid of me yet. The economic ones are going to be a little harder to find. So do your best.
Amanda Neary is a history teacher at Burbank High School. The course is part of the San Antonio Independent School District's International Baccalaureate program.
These kids have worked harder than probably most students in this same program have in the past. Last year was really hard. They weren't in here. They were virtual, and they've had to learn kind of everything from last year and then also this year. So I'm very proud of them.
While Amanda says she is honored to be recognized this way, she says it's her students that keep her wanting to do her best.
I think that teachers are good teachers when they're here for the kids and for no other reason.
Hold it up a little bit higher. There we go.
I'm here. I work hard for them because I want them to succeed. They've got a test in 3 weeks. I keep telling them, but I think that's what's really important.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. Congrats to Amanda again. It's kind of cool. We're interviewing her, and she's still reminding the kiddos about the test coming up. So
of course.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true teacher.
Yes, very much so.
Well, 9:39, 63 degrees.
You're watching GMSA at 9, and Justin, we'll have more weather after the break.
9:42.
Very nice weather out there. I wish it would last all week.
Us too. And Justin, I'm intrigued by the fact that, I know there are multiple Doppler radar sites around Texas, so we can see that stuff way out.
Yeah, well, this is coming from the radar site near Del Rio,
right.
So we can look out pretty far to the west and see these thunderstorms. It would be great if if these would hold together and move in our direction and bring us some rain, but I don't think that's going to happen. These storms may make their way into parts of Valverde County, but probably not going to make it much further than that. We'll keep an eye on things. I think if we're going to see showers today, probably in the form of some light showers here around San Antonio, and we haven't seen much yet. Probably kicks in a little bit later this afternoon. The satellite picture shows a lot of clouds, though, and those are starting to surge north. We started off clear here in San Antonio, but now cloudy, and will probably stay overcast much of the day. Only a few peaks of sun here and there. So that'll keep temperatures pretty comfortable. A little closer look here, and you can see the clouds spreading across most of Bexar County. And that jives with our forecast here. By about 5 o'clock, shows some light showers here and there, moving south to north around the area. 20% chance of rain is all we're going to give it, because I think that these will be few and far between, and most everything we see will be fairly light. As we get into the evening hours, kind of same story. Tomorrow morning, same story. But everything's starting to really move out, I think, at that point. And then by 5 p.m. tomorrow, we're getting those clouds clearing, and we'll see more sun. This is going to be a pretty similar pattern we're going to see most of the week, where we get morning clouds and then afternoon sun, some gusty winds, and it stays pretty humid. That's all the way through probably Saturday and Sunday before we get a good change in the forecast. And we'll show you that in the 7-day here in just a second. Right now, we've got overcast skies, 62 degrees at the airport. Dew point is at 51, but this number is on the rise. It will jump up a little bit more later today now that the winds have switched from the east-northeast to the east-southeast. So we're starting to get that flow off the Gulf of Mexico. 60 in Kerrville after being in the 50s last hour. 64 Uvalde, 64 in Hondo, 66 Pleasanton, and then 50 still around Bernie Stage and Comfort, so parts of Kendall County still in the 50s. Dew points, as we talked about, in the 50s, but these numbers rise later today, probably jumping into the 60s by the time it's all said and done this afternoon. So we'll go back into the muggy territory, and that, again, only gets worse as we get later in the work week. The humidity is back. We've basically just got a one-day reprieve. The KSAT 12-hour forecast, 68 noontime, cloudy with a 20% chance of rain through the afternoon, 76 the high temperature, and then back into the low 70s by 8, 9 o'clock. But the clouds stick with us. All right, we're watching an area of low pressure way up there by Alaska. Eventually makes its way towards Texas, not until Monday of next week. So we've got a lot of time to watch this. But I show you because it's probably our most encouraging chance of rain we've seen in a while. So that energy moves towards the middle part of the country and helps to bring a front through. It's along that front that the models are showing some scattered showers and storms and maybe, just maybe, some decent rainfall. It's a little too early to talk about numbers yet, and hopefully it pans out. But that's kind of the general idea right now. And we're going to put in a 40% chance of rain on Monday. We still got to work out the timing when that front comes through, whether it be morning or afternoon. But either way, I think that there will be some rain along the front. In the meantime, I mentioned the morning clouds, afternoon sun. That's the pattern we'll be in through the weekend. There's some small chances of rain there, but nothing that is nothing to get really excited about, I don't think. Overnight lows will be near 70. So that's almost like a summertime pattern, just maybe not as hot as you would see in June and July, guys.
All right, Justin, thank you very much. We've got a secret that is being revealed today, and it deals with one of the big passions here in San Antonio. That is high school football. And even though this is the debut of our event, it already sounds like something that's been around for decades. The KSAT Pigskin Classic.
That's right, coming up in August. And right now we're going to go ahead and talk with David, RJ, and I believe Greg as well.
Greg is going to be joining us in here in a second. Just look behind me. You're looking at the who's who of high school football coaches and athletic directors here in San Antonio. We are fired up. As we said before, it's never too soon to talk about high school football, and August 27th is going to be a huge day live on KSAT 12 and here in the Alamo Dome.
That's right. We are getting set to announce the KSAT Pigskin Classic, a full day of football here at the Dome. 3 big-time matches, 6 big-time powerhouse schools. And as you mentioned, David, this feels like a coach's conference now.
Yeah.
All these guys.
This is amazing.
Here. Yeah, as they start to trickle in, Judson, Johnson, Steele, Brennan, Smithson Valley, and Reagan. Good stuff here.
Yeah, there's the matchup for you. I think we're going to fire the matchup for you. Smithson Valley taking on Reagan to kick things off at 11:30, and then Judson and Johnson at 3:30, Steele and Brennan at 7:30. And plus, there's going to be a lot of other things going on. It's not just 3 high school football games in the Dome and live on KSAT 12. We're going to talk about how you can become a KSAT insider and get some special treatment when you come down here. But first, let's talk to Greg Simmons. You've been covering high school football in this town for...
Calling him the Godfather. The Godfather, decades. Greg Simmons.
Decades.
Of high school sports.
Just talk about what this means to San Antonio and what this means to KSAT to be able to broadcast these 3 huge high school football games to kick off the season.
I've never done anything like this. First of all, I think the closest I ever got was a high school basketball tournament in Jordan, where I did maybe 7 games during the Thanksgiving weekend on Thursday, another 7 on Friday, and then whatever the tournament championship was on Saturday, but never 3 football games in one day. And what amounts to be, if you think about it, add it all up, 12 and a half hours of live television starting at 10 o'clock in the morning and going to 10:30 at night. I mean, that's nonstop. Now, there's obviously a lot of people involved that are going to help us on this, but still, that's massive. Think about the thousands of people that are going to be involved in this, not only the football teams, but the bands, the pep squads, the cheerleaders, the dance teams, the grandparents, the parents. I mean, this is the biggest event I've ever seen as far as high school football is concerned in this city. And you see multiple games during the UIL state tournament. You saw them in the Dome, and you also saw them up in Jerry's World, but never local and never the first week of the season. And think about this. A lot of these kids would never have a chance to play in the Alamo Dome if they didn't make the playoffs or the playoffs weren't here. So this is their opportunity on the season opener to play. And I don't know if you've talked about the matchups, and I don't know if that has even been revealed yet.
We just talked about what the matchups were.
It's a who's who here of San Antonio football. I mean, these are powerhouse 6A schools.
This is not sub 5A. This is not, any of that. These are the names you think of when you think of high school football in San Antonio. And the one game, I'm looking forward to all of them.
Right, yeah.
But the one game I'm looking forward to is Johnson and Judson. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about the drama that's unfolded on that, because the guy that used to work worked for Mark Soto. T.B. Miller is now the head coach, and the guy that used to coach Johnson is now the head coach at Judson. So that right there, to me, sets up the drama that we're really looking forward to.
And also, Coach Soto going back to his alma mater to take over that program. Last year, Judson struggling. Coach Soto has turned things around at San Marcos and at Johnson.
Right.
He's done big things there.
And what's interesting is I'm talking to all the guys involved in this. Andy Skelton's over there. He works for TSB now, and he was on that Judson team. So was Mark Soto that year. So was Bobby Stotzenberg.
Incredible.
And we were calling their games. I think Mark was the young kid. He was the sophomore.
Yeah.
Andy was a tight end. Bobby Stotzenberger was, I believe, a tackle. So it's kind of interesting how now we're all back together again, still doing high school football, but now as broadcasters. So I think that's now head coach of Judson.
You see why we call him the godfather of high school football. So
I had no idea. That was good stuff. Yeah,
he's going to be the master of ceremonies. They're going to get the ceremony started here about 10 o'clock, and you'll be able to see that on our live stream, on all our live stream platforms and everything, so you can see the actual announcement from our general manager, and you hear from some of the coaches coming up in a few minutes. But we also want to talk about, it's different for the fans if you come down here, because we're going to have some KSAT insiders. You can be able to get some inside looks at maybe the broadcast booth and some other things. So you want to keep tuned in to KSAT and keep up with us on when we talk about the high school football playoff, or the high school football Saturday, because we're going to be telling you about all the insider stuff that you can be a part of. So that's going to be different as well. It's not just 3 high school football games to kick off the season.
Just get tickets. Where can you get tickets? How many can you get? I mean, this is a big facility, and there are going to be thousands of people involved in this.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a very, very long day, but we hope a very fun day at the same time.
So.
And you mention all that, you think about all the different things involved in putting this together, but we're going to cover that today in just a minute here at our press conference.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for being with us. Now, just to tell you about the godfather of high school football, one time we actually broadcast a game back in the 80s on KSAT 12. We actually did a high school football game in the 80s, so that's how far we go back with this. So we got a little experience with this. This is a whole new thing we're doing here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big-time deal. Again, we're going to live stream this at 10 a.m. on KSAT.com, other KSAT platforms, and we will be right back after the break.
It is Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month. That's why tomorrow on GMSA at 9, we'll be speaking with a local doctor about the disease and signs and symptoms to look out for and how it can be treated. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. for that live Q&A.
Cloudy and cool right now. We're in the low 60s, only making it into the mid 70s today. There is an outside chance for a couple showers. We haven't seen much on radar, but there is a shot for that. Otherwise, it gets warmer next few days, 80s, close to 90 by the weekend, and then next week's when we're hoping for some rain, guys.
Yeah,
all right.
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be very, very nice. And I was saying this morning that this might be our last shot at some cooler weather, but it'd be nice to get one more little glimpse next week.
Maybe.
There is a front, so we got some 70s in the forecast.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Have a great day.
He's saying there's a chance.